Not mixing the dough well enough in the very beginning, early on in the process. Yes, you can use your stand mixer. Don't be afraid of the mixer. Contrary to popular belief, you can, and your dough will benefit from mixing just at the beginning. You wouldn't do your stretch and folds with your mixer, but in the beginning, really get it in there. Mix it for a few minutes. That will give your gluten structure and your dough a huge head start, and it will benefit and be stronger if you mix it well up front at the beginning. So option number one, use your mixer or do a slap and fold. I have my dough hook here. I just added all my ingredients in here. Now I'm going to stick it in my mixer with the dough hook and mix it for a few minutes. I personally like to mix it until I get a good window pane, which I'll show you in a minute. And depending on the mixer, the dough, the flour, it can take anywhere from just a minute to up to 5 minutes or so. So I'm just gonna stop it after like 2 minutes and I'll check. All right, it's been a couple minutes. What I'm gonna do here is the window pane test. And that was just water on my hand so that it doesn't stick. And I'm just gonna see how far I can stretch it before it starts to tear. Oh, did you see that? It tore like pretty immediately. So that is my sign that the gluten structure is still really weak. The dough is very weak. And I'm gonna actually mix it some more. So here we go. It's been another minute. Now it's been a total of 3 minutes mixing. Now let's check the window pane again and see what we're looking like. Ooh, look at that. See, oh, it's still tearing. You see that? So I want to be able to stretch it and it not tear. Okay, so that's 3 minutes. I'm going more. Okay, 4 minutes. Do you see that? Do you see how much more I can stretch it pretty thin and it's not tearing? Oh, look, see, it's like fixing to tear, but it's see-through. So at this point, but I was able to stretch it a lot more. At this point, I could either go like for another minute, which I think I'm going to because I like a really strong dough, or just go ahead and let it rest. But I'm gonna go just a little bit longer. So it's probably gonna end up being 5 minutes of mixing. All right, after 5 minutes of mixing, look at this. It is so much stronger. I can stretch it pretty good and it's not really tearing. It's just now starting to tear after much stretching. So that is your huge head start. It is really well mixed. It's actually soft and already very stretchy. If I were to have barely mixed it for like a minute or two with my hand, it would not look this way. Okay, it would still be kind of clumpy and shaggy. So this basically just gives you a huge head start to your really strong dough. Now, that's the only time I'm going to use the mixer. I am not going to do my stretch and folds in there. I'm going to continue with my rounds of stretch and folds after this rest for a while. But the initial mix, totally do it in your mixer, okay? It will benefit your dough. But just one thing to keep in mind is that using the mixer is going to really heat up your dough. So I'm temping my dough here so you can see. It is at 81 degrees. That's a pretty hot dough. So just let you know, it's going to ferment pretty quickly this way, okay? So just can you keep that in mind. If you use a mixer, yes, it will cool down as you do your stretch and folds, but it's going to start off with a pretty hot dough. So just keep that in mind. It will ferment faster, but your dough will be stronger and will significantly benefit. Now I'm going to let this rest and then do my stretch and folds. So if you don't have a mixer, just mix by hand, that's fine. So after you've mixed your dough, another really good go-to that I have for strengthening the gluten structure up front. So after you've initially mixed your dough and it's rested for like, an hour, we're gonna do a slap and fold, okay? So I have the dough on a nice wet surface here. And what I'm gonna do is just kind of grab my dough, I'm gonna pick it up from the middle and it's gonna kind of flop on both sides, okay? And I want to slap the bottom onto my surface, and with the dough still in my hand, pull it towards me and then flip it over and let go, or fold it over and let go. And then whenever I go back in, I'm rotating my hands 90 degrees and I'm picking it up from the middle again, and then turning it and doing that again. So I'm just doing this in as quick motions as possible. Slap, pull, over, rotate, slap, pull, over, rotate. And just do that in quick little motions, over and over again, and it will just completely transform into a beautiful ball of dough. And it essentially do the same thing that your mixer just did. So if you don't have a mixture, this is a really good second option. Just again, after you've mixed it, let it rest for 30 minutes to an hour, and then do some slap and folds. Just do it for a couple of minutes, just until you notice the dough is just nice, beautiful, smooth texture. And then you got a nice head start. So cheers, happy baking.